Okay, let's just dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a completely chaotic, rapidly developing story out of Bhubaneswar, Odisha. Now, when an incident like this happens, a really violent street flashpoint, rumors just fly, right? The narrative gets incredibly murky really fast. So our goal today is to cut through all that noise. We're going to keep our focus squarely on the objective facts, meticulously piecing together the timeline based only on preliminary police reports and eyewitness accounts. 1 dead, 3 critically injured. These aren't just statistics we're rattling off. This is the grim, actual reality of a situation that escalated from what seemed like a traffic collision into deadly vigilante violence in literally a matter of moments. To really wrap our heads around how an incident in the Bamin Karpur area ended with 1 fatality and 3 people fighting for their lives in the hospital, we have to unpack the sequence of events step by step. So let's start at the very beginning. Phase 1, the initial attack. Every complex event has a spark. And for this one, it was a sudden, violent encounter right on a public road. The timeline here is just terrifyingly fast. In minute 1, reports indicate 2 youths allegedly hit 2 women with a motorcycle. But instead of stopping to help, it gets worse. Over the next 2 minutes, these women were dragged along the road and physically assaulted. Then, as the accused tried to flee the scene, everything shifted. What was a localized incident suddenly drew the attention and, honestly, the absolute fury of the surrounding neighborhood. It just shows you exactly how fast a normal street can completely unravel. Now, this is a crucial detail. Locals allege that the accused also forcibly kissed and harassed the women during the incident. We have to keep in mind that these are severe allegations currently being investigated by the authorities. We're looking at them completely impartially. But when a crowd gathers, testimonies can vary. That specific, highly volatile claim from the locals, that acted like a massive accelerant for the crowd that was forming around them. Police are working to verify the exact details right now. Which brings us to phase 2, the mob reacts. The mechanics of the event just entirely flip right here. The screams from the street essentially acted as a fire alarm. Witnesses state that the crowd attacked both of the accused before police even had a chance to arrive. The bystanders didn't wait for law enforcement. They didn't just detain the 2 men. The crowd's anger absolutely boiled over into outright mob violence. By the time police units finally reached the Bimgapur area, the crowd had already unleashed an incredibly severe beating on the 2 accused. And that leads us to the grim aftermath. Phase 3, casualties and status. An incident that started with a motorcycle collision has left multiple people severely damaged, leaving law enforcement scrambling. To keep the facts completely organized, we need to clearly separate the medical status of the 2 accused men from the 2 women who were initially attacked. Tracking both groups impartially is absolutely essential to understanding the full scope of this tragedy. Let's look at the accused first. For them, the mob's retaliation was literally lethal. One of the youths died directly as a result of the beating administered by the crowd. The second accused man, he barely survived the mob's fury. He sustained critical injuries and is currently receiving intense medical treatment. It's an incredibly stark reminder of the uncontrollable, deadly nature of vigilante justice once a crowd crosses that line. Meanwhile, shifting back to the victims of the initial attack, both women required immediate medical intervention following the motorcycle collision and that subsequent physical assault. They were shifted to a local hospital, and right now they're under very close medical supervision. They survived, but they're dealing with serious injuries. The physical and psychological trauma of this rapid escalation is just profound for everyone involved. So where do things stand now? Let's move to phase 4, the ongoing investigation. With the dust settling, the legal and investigative nightmare is really just beginning. Authorities aren't just investigating an assault, they're untangling an assault followed by a highly public homicide. Detectives are facing some massive unknowns. First, the true motive for the initial motorcycle attack, it's still a complete mystery. Was it a random traffic incident that escalated, or was there some kind of premeditation? The exact sequence of the mob forming's kind of blurry too. And remember those heavy harassment claims we discussed? A detailed official statement hasn't been issued yet, so detectives are still actively interrogating witnesses to verify if those are fact. And then there's this. Adding another totally unexpected layer of complexity, officials have detained 2 other women for questioning. The nature of their involvement? It hasn't been clarified at all. This is a massive curveball in the investigation. Who are these 2 women? Are they connected to the attackers, the victims, or maybe the mob itself? Their detention really hints that this story might have deeper, connected parties that haven't been made public yet. It just goes to show how wide the investigative net has to be cast. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider the broader, real-world implications of everything we just went through. How quickly can a public street become a scene of totally uncontained violence? We went from a traffic collision to an assault to a lethal mob beating in mere minutes. When a community bypasses the law in a moment of sheer outrage, what are the true consequences of mob justice? It's a lot to process, for sure. Keep an eye on this case because the answers authorities eventually uncover will undoubtedly shape the future of public order in Bhubaneswar.